it's March. Happy New Year. It's the first video of the year. Lots has happened. First thing you'll notice is that it's quite early. So I'm going to cook lunch, but I'm not going to eat lunch because I have a logistical problem of being able to record the video while I'm actually have time to make lunch. So I figured out all by myself. I've got time now, and so this is when I'll do it. Duh. So even though, yeah, like I said, it's the first day of spring today. It's been raining for like 3 weeks here in Madrid. So the reservoirs will be nice and full. But all of us around here in Madrid, we're all going out of our minds at the moment because it's just rain and rain and rain. Like crazy, a lot of rain. So, what's going on in the Fran Cooks Lunch world? Well, this sort of pause in the videos wasn't exactly planned. So, I've been thinking about things that I wanted to talk about, but I just didn't get around to it. So, so obviously, this channel, what I talk about is generally sort of like keeping your life under control, keeping your weight under control, keeping your mind under control, and just doing the best, with what you can. Try not to beat yourself up about stuff. Obviously, I go into some talk about self-ownership and stuff because that's like kind of my shtick. It's like the thing that is my basic principle, and from what everything else is derived from, is like just self-ownership. So that's the whole reason that you actually can keep your life under control, and because you take responsibility, you just do it. So one of the things that I was going to talk about was over Christmas. We got a new scale, that you weigh yourself on. And it's one of the things that you go on and you hold it and stuff, and it gives you all kinds of statistics about yourself, and and it goes on about you measure. It gives you some kind of idea. You got a new body fat and all density of stuff and things and hydration levels and all kinds of things like that. And I was just, as I've probably said here before, I don't tend to weigh myself that often. But I decided, the novelty of it, and especially with over Christmas, taking a few days basically off where, we're going and eating out, or, people are coming. And so I'm obviously not going to be going mad watching what I eat. And there's lots of things at Christmas, like sweets and stuff that get, often eaten and stuff. But I partake in all that. I don't have a problem with it. But what I did do, I was just curious to see what effect it would have. Just measuring stuff on these scales. And so I was actually quite surprised, but not really in a good way. So it's kind of I can see how people might lose their minds measuring themselves on these type of scales. Because, it gives you get on it, you weigh yourself. Well, before you do that, you set up your profile. I'm sure lots of you have already done things like this where, you put in your height, your age, and all stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's one of the things that measures your body age, which is kind of amusing. And it's quite amusing how you can change it over the course of a day, just by whatever you've been eating. So these things, as far as I can tell, the real driving factor in this seems to be like water retention, because from one day to another, I mean, apart from the fact that I can quite easily change, weigh 4 kilos more from one day to another, like with no problem at all, but without any noticeable, effects. But well, maybe a bit of bloating, maybe it's like a bit of inflammation and stuff, around the fat deposits. But it's just amazing how you can, what you eat. I mean, we all know what you eat affects, how fat you are or whatever, but it actually affects to a crazy amount how much, like what these scales think is going on. So, I could see, like it'd say crazy things like, like my muscle mass has gone down by like 5% or something over the course of one day, or stuff that you absolutely know can't be true. I mean, so I know, so it's a fact that if I get on one of these scales and, for instance, if I was to weigh myself on Friday morning after like basically all week of just, eating healthily, just as anyone who's watched any other videos of this knows, I eat the slow carb diet, which is, I'm not really going to go into now, let's just leave it at that. I eat the slow carb diet, right? Well, as part of it, you have like one day a week, you just do what you want. And so obviously that doing what I want will vary from week to week, so sometimes it can be more crazy than others, but sometimes it's not particularly crazy. But anyway, no matter what I do, I know for a fact that the difference between like Saturday morning when I get up, which is my free day, Saturday morning to Sunday morning, like there can be a change of 3-4 kilos easy, and because of that, then not just the weight, but also it must have something to do with the water retention, because that obviously changes your conductivity of your body massively. And so it, like the things that it implies, it's like, you're 5% fatter, or like, you've lost 5% muscle mass, or it just says things like this. And also it's like your body age can vary massively as well. So I'm 49, and when I measure my body age according to this thing, when I'm like eating properly, it's like 47 or something. That's what it comes up with. But it can go straight up to 49, like really easily, just by one day off. And I think the thing that mostly affects me is like if I drink alcohol-free beer, because I don't drink alcohol. So if I have some beers, then that really, the carbs and stuff, and I suppose it's like the combination of carbs plus the extra liquid intake just means that I've got the mechanism to retain water, and also all the water. So yeah, so like basically I don't tend, I just ran that experiment to just sort of see, also to be able to contextualize if like my wife or my daughter or someone else started talking to me about this scale and what's going on, I can just say, look, take a chill pill. It's not as bad as you think. It's just because it says that you've got like such and such percentage fatter doesn't mean you have. And I can, I give the example of me. But I see how people might get obsessed, because it's kind of like the applications are very gamified, like they give you these trends and like they tell you where you should be, and you know, like they give you the feedback of, oh, you're in the green zone, you're in the yellow zone, you know, and all that, oh, yeah, it's the red zone. You know, it's all kind of, you know, it's there to absolutely grab your attention, but, you know, as far as I can tell, I don't think it's particularly useful. You know, I don't find it useful, but maybe it's just because I've been sort of in the game doing this for, you know, 10 years or something, or longer. Because I started, like when I actually clicked for the first time of like, maybe I need to, I feel like I'm getting old and I'm getting fat. And I mean, to be honest, I did actually get fat before I felt old. But you know, that was just my age catching up on me. But, you know, I was, so what, 49 now. So yeah, I was in my 30s, I think. My eldest daughter was just a baby. In fact, yeah, she was. When I started doing the bulletproof diet, which is just like, where's the top? The bulletproof diet is just basically, well, he calls it, Dave Asprey calls it upgraded paleo. So it's like paleo, but with higher quality food than, you know, paleo might as well. Like he, you know, he doesn't eat, he's very careful about things that can go mouldy, and, you know, where paleo would let you eat like carrots and stuff like that, you know, he's a bit more, you know, he's a bit more wary of, you know, like, so paleo lets you eat fruit, and, you know, he doesn't eat fruit and stuff like that. But anyway, but like the whole low carb aspect to it was just a total game changer for me. Ironically, talking about carbs, adding in a load of beans into what I eat now. So like, there was a point in time when I actually thought that the only way that you could possibly not be fat is to just cut out all carbs. But like now, if you see, you know, I eat loads of legumes now. I mean, I eat a kilo of dried legumes. I don't eat them dried, but what I mean is that amount a week. Because I buy a kilo a week, and I always, you know, run out. So, but you know, I learned over time, you know, it's not the only way to keep your weight under control. You know, and also what was a complete game changer and something I really didn't expect was the fact that once I realised that exercise isn't the mechanism to keep your weight under control. I mean, it's part of it, or it can be part of it, but, you know, it's pretty much all about what you eat. So, I mean, you know, that's just so many people that I've talked, that I, you know, speak to, and I think, because obviously I've known people, when you get a bit long in the tooth, the people that you know now, there's a good chance that you've known them for quite a while. And so a lot of my friends have, you know, known me, or like met me when I was in my, you know, late 20s, but then, you know, saw me get fat, and then have seen the fact that I've like had my weight under control for like a good while now, you know, like, I don't know, 7-8 years, I haven't had any type of like rebound. And like some of these guys who have like tried to set on the right path and, you know, try and help them out, like I say, oh, you know, how'd you do it, let me in on the secret and stuff, and, you know, I'll provide them with documents and stuff, and I don't think any of them have managed to keep the weight under control. But it's not faulting them, it's just basically, if you're not mental, you know, if you don't realise that, you know, keeping your weight under control isn't like saying, I want to lose weight for a wedding, or I want to lose weight for this moment in time, or I want to look good, you know, I want to I want to look good when I go to the beach. I mean, if that's all you want, then great, knock yourself out. It's not, I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that, but that goal isn't the same goal as, I just want to be a healthy weight and, keep stuff under control and, feel good about myself and be able to, move more in a sort of agile way so I can play with kids and things like that. These are the fundamentally different motivations, and so you need to approach them in that way. So that was that's what happens when you buy a new scale. So I don't even weigh myself every week using it anymore, because there's little or no point. Because my basic, the way my weight seems to just be going for the last bunch of years, is it's like kind of the baseline is just gradually going down. But I recently went to Rome for a weekend. Rome is great, love Rome. And so obviously it was just pasta and pizza, from from Friday night to Monday night. It was just pasta and pizza all the time. So obviously, I could feel it, but I didn't even bother weighing myself, but I could feel it. And so it's probably, that was like 2 weeks ago or something. And although I haven't weighed myself, I think I'm probably going to weigh myself on Saturday morning, maybe, if I remember. And I suspect that now I'll be at my normal weight again. But, the eating in I'm not eating in a way that I'm trying to, I don't count calories or anything. So I just, eat in a normal way, I eat slow carb foods, and I just let my body just work it out. I do my exercise, I do a lot of walking these days. Oh yeah, that's something else. I'll tell you about it in a minute. So, I think if you just get into the kind of routine where you're not obsessing over food, and just let your body sort it out. So, quick little plug. There's the 30-day dad bod buster challenge, whatever, one of those combinations of the words. The link will be in the description. So I recommend that if anyone wants to just sort of kickstart, shake things up a bit and just see if they can start losing weight. Because although I've said I eat and live in a certain way, that's because I'm at a different point in this whole weight loss journey, as people say. I'm quite happy to be at the weight that I'm at, but I wasn't. And so when you're not and you want to do something, it is actually quite good to shake it up a bit and do something radical, do a big change, and that'll just it proves to you, oh wow, I can actually change things. I can provoke by taking the initiative, and taking responsibility. I can change how I look in just 30 days. In fact, you feel the benefits of it well before 30 days. Just after a week you'll be like, what? But anyway, the 30-day dad bod buster challenge. So check it out, it's free. So what other things I've been doing? I got a treadmill, just a walking treadmill, and it's great. Especially these past 3 weeks where it's been raining, and you see, normally my routine is I get up and I go out for a walk for about an hour with the dog, and I come back and see the kids breakfast and stuff, and then maybe I'll take the dog out again later in the day. But maybe I can get another hour in, but maybe not. But what I've done is I've got one of these treadmills that it's an under desk treadmill, and it's great. I absolutely love it. Because what I also love about it is when I've got something that I've got to work on, that I really need to concentrate on, against all expectation, I'm more focused if I'm on the treadmill and just going, because it it seems like getting your body to do something like mundane, like walking, it just, for some reason, or at least with me, it like frees your mind. So like, you know, your body's not going, ooh, I'm hungry, ooh, I'm itchy, ooh, shall I go to the toilet, ooh, you know, that is just taken up by walking, you know, dum 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 dum. So I find that if I do that for like an hour, it's just incredibly productive. It's like, it's really, really productive. And it's also so counterintuitive, that's why I'm bringing it up. Because I just wouldn't have believed it until I tried it. So, you know, subsequently, I'm also getting a lot more walking in. So I'm getting in, like, so for instance, in the morning, if it's absolutely pouring with rain and the dog hates it, there's no point in taking my dog out. He's too spoiled. If it's absolutely pouring rain, there's no point, because he won't even weigh. He's just like, I know, I'm quite happy weighing against the curtains, you know. Don't feel like you have to take me out. So when I if it's pouring rain, then I'll get on the treadmill in the morning, but I'll read a book, and it's great as well. Just like, you know, I don't think I'll be able to sit down for an hour at like 6 o'clock in the morning and read, like just on a chair, because I know I've tried this before, and you can kind of do it, but I tend to like start to fall asleep. Even, you know, if I'm just got out of bed and I haven't done anything yet, and my body's like, oh, I need to go back to bed. So, but reading while I'm walking totally keeps you awake, and it's just, as well, it's like I find that the information goes in better. So, yeah, subsequently I'm getting a lot more walking in, which just makes me feel a lot better. It's kind of nice, because I like doing martial arts, but life sort of takes over. So I found the place that I used to train karate, I can't really do it anymore, because they've changed the timetable, and it doesn't fit in. I can't go in the morning, and like, it's when I need to be with the kids in the evening, so I can't do that. And I used to do jiu-jitsu, but I injured my shoulder, and it's just not getting well. I mean, I can do everything now. I can lift weights and everything, so I'm okay. But I don't want to go back to jiu-jitsu, because a perfectly firm move in a combat that my opponent could do on me will just set my shoulder off again. So there's literally no point. I can't, you know, like I said, I'm 49, I can't risk being like not able to do sport for, you know, 4 months again. It's just, I hate it too much. So anyway, you know, now I'm doing, until I find another thing that I can do, I'm doing a lot of walking, and it's good. You know, it's not, I mean, it feels good. So if anyone else works from home, you know, I definitely recommend. You know, they're only about €100. You can you don't have to break the bank with it, and it's so good. You know, get like another hour or two in walking. It's just great. So so that's that. I don't know what else I was thinking about. I mean, there's a bunch of things that I've got in mind, but I'd quite like to see if I can get some more people to watch these videos, because although I get some views, it's not really going anywhere. And but I've also read lots of places that until you get to 100 videos, you haven't even started. So you know, I think I'm on 60 something. So we'll keep that up. Excuse me while I move my phone away from what I'm recording on. So I don't want to have the noise. So yeah, I think that's basically it. That's like it for the updates. I'll see if I get this uploaded. And today, obviously, I'm cooking my lunch early and I'll eat it later. So Fran doesn't eat lunch at this video, and in fact, I'll probably leave this cooking for a little bit longer. But that's basically it. So let's see if I can get back into the routine of making videos early, but at least I'll make them and see what happens. So have a good day and talk soon.